Hello again, Dominic Trophy, and welcome to another video. And this one is going to be something video game related, especially with it still being E3 week. Now, I did a video yesterday saying at the end that I was going to do two videos. I'm going to make two videos. One was going to be about the Nintendo conference, and one was going to be a regular video. And unfortunately, I forgot that, and I didn't find out until late last night, yesterday, that Sony also had their conference early this morning. So these two videos that I'm going to be uploading today will be about these two conferences, and the regular video will be delayed until tomorrow, so I just want to apologise for that, I'm sorry. So anyway, this video will be about my thoughts on Sony's PlayStation E3 2017 conference. Let's give my thoughts on what I liked about it and stuff. Now, overall, I quite liked Sony's conference. I think they definitely showed off a lot of stuff that made their platform and a lot more interesting, and there was a lot of new announcements and upcoming games that were really exciting. I think a few of the things that I found interesting was that they were talking about Gran Turismo Sport, which is coming out later. So even though that's kind of been rumored and speculated, it's still good to hear that it's officially announced that we're getting a new Gran Turismo game. I honestly thought that was something Ridge Racer related, but it wasn't. But I'm still happy for Gran Turismo to get a new game, because that was actually announced before the main conference. But during the main conference, they were talking about giving us more details and more stuff about Uncharted: The Lost Legacy, which is coming out in 2 months. Which I know it's coming too close, but it's still nice to hear something new about that. But I'm excited to see that come out. They also were talking about Horizon Zero Dawn, which is getting its first DLC pack, or its first DLC, which is called the Wildlands, something like that. So it looks really, really good. And I've heard a lot of good stuff from Horizon Zero Dawn. I've heard a lot of friends like that game, and I think it looks good, and I think I'll definitely get it. As I mentioned about before, my sister's partner Daniel, he loves that game a bits, and I think it's definitely well worth picking up. So I think I'll definitely get that, as well as the new DLC coming out, in the far future. I think another game I was interested about was that they were talking about God of War, which looks interesting. Talking about that here, obviously, the little boy is actually his son, so obviously, dad and stuff, which was interesting. I thought, well, that's pretty cool. I think what was shown, I'm excited about that as well, and I'm looking forward to getting into the series, because I actually bought all three for the PlayStation 3 a few months ago for cheap, and I thought, well, I've heard a lot of good stuff about God of War, and I've never played it. I thought, well, if I've got a PlayStation 3, I'll get them on there. I know that the third one was re-released and remastered for PlayStation 4, and I think it was enhanced on PS4 Pro, I think, you know what I mean? But apart from that, I'm looking forward to the new God of War game. I think other things they were talking about that we already knew, but it was nice to hear about. They were mentioning about Destiny 2 is coming out, Call of Duty World War 2 is coming out. So it was nice to hear those, even though again we already knew. They were talking about different PlayStation VR games. One that I think looks amazing is something called The Impatient, which looks a bit unusual, but it looks different and good, so it does. And another game that I think looks really, really good, and I'm excited for it, is a game called Detroit Beyond Human, which is obviously set in a human, like the human, in the human world, obviously, where everything's been taken over by androids and robots, and one of the main characters called Marcus, he has to try and destroy them all and get back, basically make humanity the way it used to be. So basically, you own yourself, you have your own soul, and you are the master of your own self. It's like no one has to control you, and it looks really, really good. But the one thing I think looks amazing about it is you create the storyline of it. You know what I mean? So instead of having like a normal storyline going, you can actually change that and make it a lot more interesting, making it as your own story. And I think that's an amazing idea, you know what I mean? And there's there been like, you know, like a lot of story-driven games, a lot of text-based games as well. Like a lot of those Telltale games, you choose what you want to do next, which I think is a good thing. So I'm looking forward to that coming out. But overall, I think there's a lot of great games that were shown off, and I'm just excited for what Sony showed off. That's, you know, for the PlayStation 4, you know, PS4 Pro, as well as PlayStation VR. I know a lot of people, especially for PS Vita, you know, would have wanted something, but Sony's not really supported that in a few years. You know what I mean? But it's still good that third parties do support that. But you know what I mean? You know, Sony's main product is the PlayStation 4 and the VR as well. But apart from that, I'm excited to see, you know, what the future of Sony will be, and you know, that's the thing overall. Actually, I forgot 2 games as well. They're also talking about Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, which again we knew about from last year, but still looks really, really good. And a new Spider-Man game that's exclusive to that as well. That looks amazing as well. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing those when they come out. So I liked Sony's conference. I think it was good, and I'm looking forward to seeing what we get from the future of Sony and stuff. So I just want to say thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and my next video will be obviously uploaded in many hours, like 4 or 5 hours, because we have the new Nintendo conference coming out, which it airs at 5 o'clock this evening PM, so I'm looking forward to that. I can't wait for that either, so I can't. And I'm looking forward to what Sega's showing as well. So I think the other conferences that I've not watched, you know, EA, Bethesda and Ubisoft, I may watch those, and I think might do a full-on review of what I thought of EA 2017 overall. So I just want to say thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll be uploading one later on today, which is Nintendo's conference. So I just want to say thank you very much for watching, and see you later. Bye.